Paul Spann, where your green at, man?
What?
You ain't got no green on.
I don't have any green on. You are very correct. I have a lot of black and burgundy on. Because I'm black and partially burgundy.
Fight the power, dog?
No, not at all. Not at all. I'm just,
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to all my Irish brethren and sisters. I don't believe that I'm Irish. I don't think that, I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think that I am. But happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone celebrating. I am, I'm not drinking right now.
Word up. Me either. I'm drinking ginger in lemonade. So
As you need
to it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
My name is Adam Butler. That's Paul Spann.
Paul Blackman Spann.
We are
the Gatekeepers.
Let's get to it. We got a great show for you guys today. A lot of things that happened in the last month or so since we recorded. Walk me through. Let's talk about Anthony Edwards. Walk me through what's going on with Anthony Edwards, and walk the people through what's going on with Anthony Edwards, so we can lighten it up a little.
I mean, he's in certain areas. It's been a conversation, and Edwards made a statement about fathering a child that he wants to have absolutely no dealings with. He's going to financially completely take care of the child, but his wishes and his plan is in no way to have any dealings with said child. And the whole situation is receiving, like, obviously there's a mixed bag. He's been receiving overt criticism all the way down to a young woman. Little boy was at the shoe store. He went and picked up the Anthony Edward, the AE, and she was, we ain't rocking like that. He don't take care of his kids.
And picked up the John Morant though, which was very funny to me.
We'll get
very funny to me. Yeah.
You play with pistols, but anyway.
Yeah.
Shout out to both those guys. Stop messing me up. But and then there's people that understand understand what he's saying, and some people that actually agree with. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, talk to me about that. What is it to understand?
There are both men and women, via the internet talking about, I understand what he said. Because I forgot, I left out the part where he had asked the young lady to have an abortion because he wanted, and she chose to have the kid. You know what I'm saying? So there are people saying, if I told you this already off Buck and then they side with him, or they don't have a disfavorable opinion of him because he said this is what he said to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Then there are other people that obviously it's unfavorable.
Yeah. Okay. If you watch my other show, one of those, you know how I feel about Anthony Edwards. I think Anthony Edwards is. I'm a huge fan of Anthony Edwards. Huge fan. He plays ball the way. I think he plays ball the right way. I love the antics. I thought the thing with Obama was funny with the, man, you better tell him and all that. You know what I mean? I had brash enough to talk to to Obama that way. Talking shit to Katie. All the basketball stuff, I think is dope. I love his sneaker. All of it. Okay. This is piss poor. And it's indicative of a young man's mind. When I was teaching, one of the things I used to say, P, is that young people are, I don't know how old is Anthony? Is he 25 yet?
I think he's like 24. Tops.
So the frontal lobe is not developed.
Man, he's overtly not there yet.
The frontal lobe is not developed. And that's not an excuse, but I want to explain that by saying young people don't have foresight. They don't have patience, and they're not able to think 4 or 5 steps ahead. If Aunt Edwards were my son or brother or someone, and they came to me and was like, man, I got somebody pregnant, I don't fuck with her. I asked her to get an abortion because I don't really want nothing to do with her. I don't want to have to spend the rest of my life dealing with her. I asked her to get an abortion. She told me no. What I would say to him is, don't say anything publicly. Don't say anything to her. If you are planning on taking care of the child financially, And that's in your mind, even though I would love for you, brother, son, whoever to be, definitely involved in your child's life. The main thing I want to tell you is to cool your heels and don't make a rash decision that you're going to regret later on in life. Don't make an emotional decision and don't make a declaration. Don't plant your flag by saying, this is what it's going to be. And in 5 years from now, when you see little homie walking around, dribbling the basketball, reminding you of you, and then you start thinking, damn, I think I love that little thing that I made. And now I want to be in his life. And maybe you will be in his life when he's 3, 4, 5 years old and you calm your ass down. But when they're 20, or when they're 15, or when they're 10, and they can read, and they're in school,
And they can search the internet.
and they can search the internet on their iPad. My daughter has an iPad. My daughter just turned 2. Okay? And they hear that you told the world, well, you told her, but she told the world that you
No,
don't.
they posted.
Okay, so you told the world, thank you for that clarification, even worse. You told the world that you don't want nothing to do with that child other than to give up a couple of dollars for them. What they're going to think of you. That is either, because you have to at least consider this, that is either a bad person, like an actual bad person, or a young person who is operating off emotions, that has all the money in the world and no one to go, son, please. So when I see Jaden Daniels, speaking of the Commanders, constantly walking around with his mom, I believe Jaden Daniels realized, man, I believe Jaden Daniels still live like an actual like teenager. Like I think he realized just got like, I think that's his mama house. He make the money. She is manager, so no disrespect to her. Like mama running the. I'm complimenting her right now, so I don't need to say no disrespect. But I believe Jaden Daniels, in everywhere other than on the football field, where he's the leader of men, is a boy who lives with his mom, who plays video games. I believe she make his dinner. I believe because he is a young man and he's not a matured man. Okay, and this is probably, I'm bringing Jaden Daniels up to compare to Anthony Edwards, because we all know when we think of Jaden Daniels is like model citizen, right?
Right.
I can't imagine Jaden Daniels getting into that situation because his mama wouldn't allow it, because his mama understands, yeah, this boy, yeah, he the quarterback of the Commanders, rookie of the year, greatest rookie of all time, blah, 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 blah. But he's still just a boy. You have a son. Shouts out to Anton. You know how long, this is not an indictment on Anton. This is just kids. You know how long it took for your son to actually become like a man and be able to trust him to just be on his own and do whatever. That's what, yeah, this to me just sounds like a kid being a kid, throwing a temper tantrum and being very stupid and not thinking about the future. Not thinking about his child's future and not thinking about his future. And his very immediate future, by the way, like tomorrow after I put this statement out, what are people going to think of me? And it's bad. It's bad. It's bad, bro.
Well, so here's the thing. Those things that you laid out, obviously we know, Anthony Edwards had a lot of his family members passed away. You know what I'm saying? They passed away for him at a young age. He was only raised by his grandmother. It wasn't, his the things that happened. So when I listen to him at times, when I see how he conducts himself, and once again, no, absolutely wonderful basketball player, absolutely wonderful from what I can see from the eye test, wonderful spirited young man. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that stance I vehemently disagree with, and I'll take it even further, just because as a father, you're a father also. No matter, and even in the throes of manhood and responsibility, right? Because even be you a younger man, be you whatever, we all know, and even in your direct situation, we all know how children are made. Like we know how that process works, You
Yeah.
see what I'm saying? And I don't know whether homie used protect, whether he didn't, but like when the onus falls on you, and that is your seed. Like I as a father, I will never agree
Yeah.
with that stance. Like
Right.
I will never agree with that stance because note to all young people, to any and everyone, no child on this earth asked to be born.
Not one.
Not one. They're all aberrations of our actions.
Yep.
So so to before this child has even seen the light of day. And like you said, I would hope that in the future he has a better and stronger team around him of people
Mm-hmm.
to shield him from, obviously, from himself and this piss poor decision to make this information public. And honestly, to even everybody has the right to carry whatever ideology that they want. But as a man and as a father, personally, I would challenge even that ideology.
Yeah.
Like I would challenge it
Yeah.
because like understand like what you're saying. Like you've essentially already put out a damaged child.
Yeah. Yes.
Because
Yes.
because even like you said, even if you come back and you double back and he's like, I was tripping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I do, but that information, like you put that information out there. You know what I'm saying? And I'll say this. It wouldn't, and it's just me personally talking, it wouldn't hurt Anthony Edwards personally to get a little better media training. Like his antics
Yeah.
are they cool and they goofy and all that, but like but some of his, like, any and everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like to be super talented at basketball doesn't mean that you are the height of intellect.
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It doesn't
Breaking
like
news. Right.
in the least bit. You know what I'm saying? And I'm
Right.
not calling them stupid or anything of that sort. What I'm saying is like he could be a bit more polished, and people are, in my opinion, are doing him a slight disservice by always continually celebrating things.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Without saying,
Yeah.
because in truth, yeah, it's cool to just have a frank conversation with President Obama and all that stuff. Yeah, it's cool. But you, in my personal opinion, you can consort yourself a smidge better than that. That's not your homie, huh?
Yes, president, former president of the United States. You're absolutely right. Let's take that manhood conversation that we were planning on having and kind of mix
Yeah,
these in.
yeah,
We
yeah.
dosey.
You know what I'm
Okay,
saying?
and it's Anthony Mackie stuff and just kind of because I think these tie together.
They do. They
Okay.
do, because like I said, for him,
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, obviously neither one of us agree with that stance. We've already, made it clear that even making it public information was just overtly stupid. But even just as an ideology for people that aren't famous, for a person that just needs to hear of the
Mm-hmm.
responsibility of fathering or mothering children. Like you
Yeah.
caused that action, and if you didn't want that to happen, then you should have took measures for that not to happen. Because once
Right.
it happens, you have no control of telling that. Like, obviously, we have no control of whether it's going to be kept or not.
Absolutely. Asking a woman to get an abortion. I mean, it happens.
Yeah, clearly.
I don't know what I would have done. I got to be fair. I wouldn't have done this. Okay, but I don't know what I would have done if I were 20. You've been through it, but I have not. Okay. If I were 19, 20, 21, 22 years old, and one of the little girls I was dealing with at the time told me she was pregnant and I'm pregnant. And I don't know if the words would have came out of my mouth. Hey, well, you have thought about getting an abortion. I can't say I would not have said that or would have said that. Right. But as an adult male, who has obviously is a father, um, who witnessed what my wife went through her pregnancy and through her childbirth, and all of the stress and strain that goes on a woman's body to bring a child into this world, to elect that she go through a dangerous procedure. It's not something, and I'm not anti-abortion. I'm saying, I'm agreeing with you that like I would not be convincing if she came to me and was like, "Yo, I don't think I could carry this baby." I'd be very sad, but I'd have to understand. maybe I would try to, please, maybe. And then if she goes, I can't, then I have to just mourn that and recognize that, man, I need to be more careful so I don't feel like this again. Right. But if she's like, no, I'm keeping it, and I'm like, but wait, you gotta, I'm on the wrong path.
Yeah.
I'm on the wrong path there. That's one. Two, reason why I wanted to mix it in with the manhood piece and Anthony Mackie's comments on manhood and him saying that masculinity has been, damaged in America over the past 20 some odd years. I'm paraphrasing. Never really explaining that, but really getting into something I thought was more interesting, which is how he raises his sons in more like traditional masculine ways, opening doors, saying please and thank you,
Yes, man.
being the man of the house when he's out of town, those things. I think that's why those messages are important, because on the flip side, you have an Anthony Edwards, right? Who is full of emotion, full of passion. And you said it best. As much as I laughed at the Obama thing, you are right. It also did make me feel uneasy as I laughed at it, because it was, and you could tell Obama was kind of like, oh, okay, like, damn, young man, you just gonna talk to me any old way. And he even called over LeBron and them to be like, get your boy, like, man, he need y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, he need y'all. And so, yeah, it even makes me think about the LeBron thing. Funny enough, it makes me think about the LeBron Stephen A thing. Funny enough, it does. You know what I'm saying? It's funny that it makes me think about that. But it's there needs to be, when we talked about in our last segment, like kind of planting seeds to kind of like cure the thought process of like Americans. There needs to be a curing of men and what boys recognize as a man.
Understood.
You know what I mean? God, I am actually bringing this up, and I said I wouldn't, but I'll bring it up briefly just as an example. The reason why I really enjoyed the battle was because for me, it's in very adult years, like not teenage years, like, Kendrick on the Playboy Cardi album, that's fine. But what I was hearing in the battle was, that whole, you don't know nothing about that, raising them up, know nothing about that. Like, it was, I know you're the boy, but where's the man? Like, those lines stand out to me in the battle. Not pedophile or PDF file. Sorry, I can on YouTube. I'll fix that. Not the accusations, but you are not a man. Everything about you is about demeaning women, playing around, having fun and having no responsibilities. I'm talking about manhood. Okay, that's enough about the battle. Okay.
Let it go.
Right, they gotta let it go, dog. But no, but just that metaphor of
Right.
speaking manhood into existence. It doesn't have to be a toxic thing. It can be a very honorable thing, and this is a great example of that. Men who watch that sport, women watch the sport, obviously, but men who are the majority of people that watch that sport and enjoy that sport and are fans of his need to hold him to task. He needs to be held accountable. We as men, so when you tell me as a woman, I saw that video too in the store going, my son can't wear that dude's shoes. I would love to see the man in the video going, nah, son, you can't wear them shoes. That dude don't take care of his kids. Isn't that what women been asking us to do for the longest time?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, go for it.
I fully like I said, like that conversation, that manhood conversation, that whole thing, and even for this situation in particular, I was 21 years old when I was told that I was going to be a father, right? And I'll tell you this, and I don't know if the element of celebrity, the element of money, and all that breeds some of these ideologies. I don't think that's only what it is, but to me, that having abortion would feel completely unnatural. It's not even a natural thing for me personally to say. And like you said, I'm not against abortion. It's not something that I would prescribe to for me, because I'm going to take full responsibility for anything that I do in life, whether I meant to do it, whether it came about, whichever way it came about. I'm still going to assume that full responsibility because, in my opinion, and how I was reared, that is an element of a definition of being a man and handling
Absolutely.
responsibility. You
Absolutely.
understand?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
when we craft, when we, you know, blankly, like when we champion certain ideologies,
Mhm.
we're doing a grave like I said, like certain things are funny, cute, tongue in cheek, and all those things, but there are larger elements at stake. And understand something too. There are little boys and little girls looking up to this young man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? Now, mind you, we would all hope that every young person on this earth has a responsible parent that talks to
Right.
them, that breaks things down to them,
Yeah.
that does all these things, but they don't.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
don't. And understand, even when you said something about Anton had me as a father, as his
Mhm.
father. And
Mhm.
I made sure that I made an example
Yeah.
of fatherhood, of manhood, and even in the way that I talk to him. So there are certain elements of things that I knew he would be prepared for because I prepared him for it,
Right.
right?
Right.
Everyone doesn't have that. And I'm not saying that everyone doesn't have a father. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that we all owe a responsibility, whether it be on a microphone, whether it be in our opinion, whether it be anywhere, to help foster better mentality.
Yeah. Yeah. When you found out, so you said you was 21, so that would be like
Mhm. Women, son.
1963, probably like 1963. Abortion wasn't legal then, though, so you didn't have that option.
Yeah. Nah. We weren't doing anything like that. Chasing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So you couldn't have, yeah,
Right.
it was a civil rights movement. you,
It's like,
you couldn't even vote. You couldn't even vote. So you know you had no say in the matter.
oh man.
You had to go to Bumpy Johnson and ask him for a couple of dollars just
Make
for
sure my number cleared.
make sure you run. Yeah, you had to run them
I'm
numbers,
waiting
right?
for now.
Oh man, sorry, brother. I just
oh man.
Um,
But
nah, man. But you're right. You're 100% right, and I think that um, just going to the Anthony Mackie thing real quickly. Um, the conversation about manhood, as wild as it may sound, and I get it if you're one of our lady listeners, um, maybe you'll agree with this. I don't know. But it has to be a conversation amongst men. And the pieces of it, the toxic pieces of it, and the beautiful pieces of it have to be worked out and negotiated amongst men. Um, so you all can have a better example and see better acting and functioning men in society.
right.
That conversation that Anthony Mackie's having with Ryan Clark and the fellas from the
Yeah,
Pivot, great
mhm.
podcast by the way.
Wonderful.
Um, you know, it may sound jarring when he's using, certain charged language like, that manhood and masculinity has been destroyed in America. And, if you're not a part of manhood, you may jump to misogyny and patriot, but it's not that. What it
Not,
is
not in
brothers.
his context.
Yeah, it wasn't in this context at all. And what it is just brothers working it out amongst each other, and kind of he could have said something, and um Ryan Clark and the crew could have said, well, I don't agree with that, and then he could have had a good debate about it
Right.
and come to a conclusion of, well, you're right, yeah, true, X, Y, and Z. I don't agree with Anthony Mackie not letting his son wear Jordans
Yeah,
and
it's
all
kind
that
of
don't mean
crazy, man.
nothing. But that's what he chooses to do,
Right.
and we can have a discussion about that. And I
Mhm.
can say, well, wearing Jordans or not wearing Jordans has nothing to do with
In the
manhood,
least bit.
but I understand where you're coming
Yeah.
from.
I get what he was
So
saying.
I could apply that to my theology of manhood and X, Y, and Z. My philosophy, not my philosophy of manhood and X, Y, and Z, and then there you go. But these conversations have to happen. And they have to happen in private, and they have to happen in public. And it cannot be centered around dating,
No.
and it cannot be centered around um sexuality.
Right.
You can't say that someone that does not enjoy the same sex as you is not a man,
Right.
and they shouldn't be practicing manhood. or teaching their son, if they have one, how to be a man. And you can't say, oh, everything I do in regards to being a man is to get a woman or to impress a woman or to date a woman. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what Anthony Mackie was talking
No,
about.
not
Anthony
in
Mackie
this
was
way.
talking about, you know, responsibility. So
Man,
when he says,
morals.
yeah, so when he says leave his son, and I'm gonna bring this full circle. When he says when he goes on the job and his son is at home, he didn't say, yeah, you gotta pay the bills and grab the shotgun, son, just in case. He said lock the doors.
Mm-hmm. Check the alarm.
Make sure the alarm is on. That shit you gotta learn.
Yeah. Central
You know what I
element
mean?
of being a protector from
Yeah,
the part of what science has told us that an element of
yeah.
manhood is.
Yes.
Right?
When my son is downstairs and Jen and I need to leave the room to do something, whatever, we go, Kai,
Look out for your sister.
the baby sister's in here. Watch out for her. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to go make her dinner,
Earlier
or
today,
I'm saying make sure she doesn't fall down the steps. Make sure she play with her. Make sure it's your responsibility, not because she's a little girl, even though because she's a little girl, but also because she's a little person. If this was your baby brother, I'd be asking you to do the same thing.
earlier today, I was FaceTiming with Anton,
Mm-hmm.
and he had both of my granddaughters on his back.
Anton is 53
Right.
now.
And Anton will be 26 on
Anton's born in
October
1959.
9th.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm trying to go, please.
He had both of my granddaughters on his back, right? And the older one got in the front, right? The older, and mind you, this is two girls. So he
Yeah.
knows, no, Adelaide, get
Mhm.
behind your little sister,
Yeah.
right? Right? Because these are just, in general, protection elements, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
bigger than her. You have to look out for her. Now,
Yeah.
we take it further. Now, mind you, those are just lessons in
Mm-hmm.
general.
Mm-hmm.
The what not derivative, because my grandson wasn't there, just the two girls.
Yeah.
Now, when we take that and remove that, and then we go like what Anthony Mackie was even in his, when he said something about the abolishment of masculinity in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
It, in no way was he talking about it in a sexual context.
Yeah.
In no way, like honestly, like what I got from it, and fully listening to the full interview, what I got from it is what you said. I'm teaching my son protection. I'm teaching my sons respect. I'm
Yeah.
teaching them that he said something that that to not be stupid. He literally said that.
Yeah.
And what I got from that is even to the Jordan thing. He said, I'm not raising a bunch of internet fly guys.
Right. Right.
So I
Right.
take it even further, because he definitely should get those guys some J's. But
Yeah. I mean,
I, but, uh,
yeah,
but
don't punish the
I think
boys now. Yeah.
what he's talking about is more of an ideology.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he said, no matter how much money I make, no matter if I'm a superstar or not,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to be on the internet flossing. You're not going to be on it. Like, and that is just in general epithets of manhood. A man
Yeah.
teaching his sons manhood. And like you said, even the part about I mean, when I'm gone, I'm on set, I may be gone away. I tell my
Mhm.
15-year-old, make sure everything is locked, man. And then I heard people going off on tangent with that. Maybe that's putting too much burden on. No, no, I'm sure he's not telling his son. I'm sure Anthony Mackie has security protocols set in place for his family.
Yeah, and it's just teaching them to be responsible.
Period.
That's it. And boys need
Period.
that. And this is what we do got to be real. Okay. Like, and again, I can't speak to what is it to be a girl, and I know that, there's differences. I mean, just keep it real. It doesn't mean that a woman needs to be less responsible than a man.
Right.
I'm teaching my daughter responsibility too, even that too. So it's not about that.
Right.
But there's just certain things that you just, especially when you grew up as a young boy and you know the mistakes you made, right? And you understand, what you went through and how you felt, you could directly relate and you could go, yeah, I could see what's going on here. Let me nip this in the bud now
Right.
so he doesn't go through some of the things that I went through. And when you talk about the erasure of masculinity in America, right? Again, it's not centered around dating and it's not centered around and if it is centered around how you treat a woman, it is only beneficial to bring it back, right?
Right.
Because going all the way back to the Anthony Edwards thing, see, a man would go, you know what? At the end of the day, even if I despise this woman, I will not publicly disrespect her and my child by telling them they ain't worth nothing but my money. That is not masculinity. A man does not bring up another. I was about to go to the battle. Anyway, no, I can't
Let it
help
go,
it.
my guy. Yeah.
I can't help it. No, but seriously, back then, but I said it a joke, but no, seriously, a man would not do that,
Yes.
right? A
Yes.
man would not do that, and so again, you have all the problems you want with that woman. You could think she a low down, scandalous, and she could be a terrible woman. We don't know her,
Right.
okay?
Right.
She could be everything he hates, but you do not openly disrespect her because you are a man. Okay? That doesn't mean that women get to openly disrespect people because it's just innate to womanhood. That's not what I'm saying. I
Right.
can't speak for womanhood. I
Right.
can speak for manhood. I can speak for my grandfather and my dad and my uncle and my big cousins taught me. And my mentors taught me. Okay? That's that. So, yeah, when I agree with Anthony Mackie 100%, you start instilling these things into these young boys now, and you'll see them be stand-up citizens.
Yeah.
How they date, and yes, they'll learn chivalry, they'll learn to respect women, and they'll be polite men,
Right.
even in the dating world. That doesn't mean they won't break hearts. That doesn't mean that there won't be misunderstandings, and that doesn't mean they won't make mistakes, because dating is different than manhood. There's not
Right.
and so I think we've centered it around, again, man, masculinity is all about getting a woman and conquering a woman. And if it's only about conquering a woman, that means if you're a gay, you cannot be a man, which is absolutely false.
Right.
Okay. So it's not about that at all. Masculinity and being a man is about understanding yourself as a man and your hormones as a man and your testosterone and all these things that come along with being a man, and understanding yourself, okay, and being that's biology, okay.
Right.
And then terms of just being a citizen of the earth, being an asset to your community, being a dependable person in your community. That is not too much pressure to put on the child.
No. No.
But if listen, when we were younger and and it snowed real bad, or it was summer and the grass started getting tall, we would get that lawnmower out, or we would get our shovel out, and we would go to Miss So and So house or Mr. So and So's house and knock on the door and go, "Hey, need any help with you?" Or if you saw the lady walking down the street with the bags, you help her.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You see a pregnant woman trying to struggle to get her stuff, you politely, you don't just, yeah, give me your bags, you don't scare her now, but you politely, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you need help? Can I help you with that?" That's being an upright citizen, and there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what I would say to, and I'm gonna wrap up here. You could make the final point. That's what I would say to Anthony Edwards and people like that. You're right. You made a great point about like kind of celebrating some. We did the same thing with like Kanye. Remember what James Morton said about Kanye all those years ago?
Fully.
Okay. Okay. Shouts to James Morton. Um, Essentially James Morton. I gotta remember this is an MSR and it's not 2011, so I got it wasn't like last week. Essentially James Morton said that Kanye West was overly emotional and he didn't operate like a man because it was always emotions that carried him. He had no checks, and you could tell that he didn't have someone to go, "Yo, you need to," he didn't have those lessons,
Right.
right? I see that in Ant Edwards. You're right, because again, he made a very emotional and disrespectful decision to out his child's mother and out his child, and make it very clear to the world, "I don't care about either one of you, but I guess I'll give you some money. Essentially, I'll give you money so you don't hit me with child support and take more than I'm willing to give you." So that's not manhood at all. And I would not encourage any young person to respect nor celebrate that.
Manhood, the conversation that is elements of responsibility. It's not like I said, you can be whatever. You can choose to love whomever you choose to love, right? Like I said, in specificity to what in my ideology Anthony Mackie was talking about, and even what we're talking about in general, is teaching an element of morality and responsibility. You understand? A code of conduct about yourself, even like you said, even to know that I know that I don't want to make a damning or any element of statement that can get back to a child that does not deserve that. Like that's an element of manhood. That's like, because like I said, they didn't ask to be here. So why would you want to off bucks set up something for them that could harm them psychologically? That's not what manhood is. And larger than just male on female, or dating, or wooing a woman or anything. Like, manhood exists when you're sitting by yourself. You understand what I'm saying? It's not something to go around to tout, to flex your muscles, or to prove to someone I'm a man. I carry myself like a man because I live up to these objectives and these standards. Not because I'm tough, not because I can punch people in the face, not because I've had sex with 50 million girls or whatever, but because of how I carry myself. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I want to continue this conversation another time because there's other. I'd like to also talk about some of the toxic traits that we could kind of like get out of the help massage out of
Most assuredly.
the community. So we'll revisit this one. I like this conversation, but we got to wrap up, man. Um, Paul Spann, you always appreciate you, brother,
Most
man.
definitely.
We're gonna be back soon.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
be
yeah.
back soon.
Yeah, it's fluid.
Right now it does feel like it's a monthly kind of cadence. We're working on getting more consistent than that, but this is a labor of love, and we appreciate everybody that tunes into this show.
Most definitely.
So go ahead and follow us. Remember to subscribe to this channel. Subscribe
100%.
to this channel. All right, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell. That helps out a lot. Comment on the video and be sure to share these videos. We really appreciate that, and that helps us a lot and helps us grow this show. Follow the show at at the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
I'll say the gatekeepers at the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. As you get clips of the shows and all that. You can follow me, MSR_Adam, MSR_Adam. That's my social. Paul, what's your social handle, sir?
At Black Man Spann. Black Man Spann, Spann with 2 N's.
There you go. Follow
Be men and women out there and follow us, and
be a man and follow me, Hogan. Anyway, be a
women
man, Hogan.
be men and
Yo,
women out there, yeah.
speaking of rap battles, I feel like I say this every 5 years. The greatest rap battle of all time is not Kendrick versus Drake or Pac versus Biggie or Jada and Beans and whoever else.
Yeah.
It's Macho Man Randy Savage versus Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
If you want to
Hulk
hear
Hogan.
the meanest diss track you've ever heard in your life, and I'm talking, forget Euphoria,
Go check it out.
forget Grams, forgetting Not Like Us. Macho Man Randy Savage, may he rest in peace, should have gotten the Super Bowl then.
Yeah.
Go Google Be a Man Hogan.
Be a man.
Okay. Google Be a Man Hogan.
And he wasn't wrong though.
He wasn't wrong because Hogan, he was whole right about, hey, that man was whole right about Hulk Hogan, brother.
100%.
Hey,
100%.
brother. Macho Man Randy Savage had it right.
100%. He had him pegged.
Your man had your man pegged.
Yeah.
He had your man pegged down back in 01. He knew it. He tried to tell the world, Hogan, you ain't no man.
He was behind closed doors.
Be a man, Hogan. Google that and report back. Let me know. Hit us in our comment section or hit us on social media and let us know what you thought about Be a Man, Hogan. Okay.
And don't be like him.
Don't be like him. Don't be like Hulk Hogan. Okay. Don't be like Hulk Hogan. Anyway, appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to follow all the stuff we told you to follow and do all of those things. Remember to mind your mental health, ladies and gentlemen. Mind your mental health. Take care of yourselves. Get outside. Get some air. Get some exercise. It's about to get warm. Start getting them summer bodies for our fellas out there. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, my man had to give me some advice the other day. Told me to get some turmeric in my system and some ginger. I was drinking ginger.
Handling your business.
Okay, I was doing that for my boy because my boy loved me and he was telling me
And
to
you
take care of
sounding
myself.
good too.
All right, thank you, sir. I ain't hoarse this time. You know what I mean? I feel good, man. You know what I mean? We're gonna take care of ourselves and we're gonna be active out here. Black men, do that for us. Okay, mind your mental health. And ladies and gentlemen, never forget and always remember to be great.
Elevate us.
We up out of here.
Thanks.